Okay, we are back. Today is sort of a somber day because as of the time this is being recorded, my grandfather has passed away just yesterday. So to make myself feel a little better about his passing, I decided to do what I love best, work with old computers. So today we've got the Gateway Solo, I think this is the Solo 2500. Yes, the Gateway Solo 2500 that I picked up at Value Village for about $7. And as you recall, this computer has a copy of Windows XP Professional RTM on it. But obviously, since it has the previous owner's personal data on it, I'm not going to be keeping that installation of Windows. So today, we are going to be giving this machine a well-deserved upgrade to Windows Millennium Edition. Haha, all jokes aside, I know. But for those of you who say that Windows ME sucks, I mean, I don't disagree. I don't agree that it was the best operating system ever made. Oh, and I should probably plug the charger, the AC adapter, into the right computer, because if we're going to be installing Windows, we need to be on AC power. There we go. But anyways, yeah, although Windows ME was not the most popular version of Windows, I never had a problem with it. And maybe I just have good computers, but maybe it's just that I have good computers that are able to run Windows ME well. But you know what? I'm gonna try installing it on this computer, and let's see how it runs. Let's see if this will, if I will finally have a bad computer that runs Windows ME like crap. I also had a little bit of trouble with this machine earlier. I could not get it to recognize the CD-ROM drive. That was because I put a DVD-ROM drive in, and apparently this BIOS version is too old to recognize DVD-ROM drives. Alright, so we want to boot from the CD-ROM. And let me just sit down because we are going to need to do a lot of... Well, actually, I should probably zoom in on the screen because you guys probably can't see that. So let me zoom in a little bit. We're still at the blinking cursor of death, and if this optical drive doesn't work, so help me. There we go. Okay, we want to start the computer with CD-ROM support. And we're going to have to do fdisk. We're going to have to fdisk this drive because it currently has an NTFS partition and fdisk can't read that. So we're going to go ahead and run fdisk. We want to enable large disk support. Your computer has NTFS partitions which may require large drive support. If you are using another operating system such as Windows NT, which supports large drives, you should enable treating these partitions as large. Crash occurs, do nothing, run fdisk, and answer no. Okay, well it didn't crash, so okay, so let's delete the partition. We want to delete the non-DOS partition. Does not have a volume label. Did we do that? Did it actually do it, or because? No, it did not. It did not delete that. Okay, let's try again. We want to delete the non-DOS partition. Data non-DOS partition. One. Do you want to? Okay, yes, I want to delete one. Oh, because I had it set on no. Of course. No wonder it didn't work. Okay. So now let's view the partition, let's display the partition information again, make sure that we don't have any partitions. Okay, good. So now we want to create a primary DOS partition. Verifying drive integrity. Looks like it's going by at a good clip, so I won't have to pause the video here. And what the, oh, this glare is horrible. Let me turn the lights off. Maybe that'll help, because it's a dark and stormy day today, so. Yeah, let me try the other light and see if that makes a difference. Ah, that's a million times better. I didn't even realize. Do you wish to use the maximum size available for your primary DOS partition? Yes, I do. Verifying drive integrity again. Oh, gotta love fdisk. Fun times with fdisk back in the day. Alright, you must restart your computer. Let's do it. I don't know about the CD-ROM drive. It's taken an awful long time to read CDs, so it might be on its last legs. I hope not. Okay, let's do Control-Alt-Delete, because it does not appear to have restarted the computer by itself. I have no idea what's going on now. Oh, there we go. For a second, I thought it had just froze. Yeah, it's trying to boot from the CD, but this drive may be on its last legs. Okay, boot from CD-ROM. Yeah, I don't know. This drive, it's just spinning up and spinning down. Alright, come on, why isn't the camera focusing? I don't even have manual focus on here, so... Alright, let's try this again. So let's do start computer with CD-ROM support. See what drive letter it assigns our CD-ROM drive. Drive D. Okay. Do we have a format command here? We do not have a format command on here. It does not look like it. So we need to switch to the D drive. Let's see if we have a format command on here. It's probably in the Windows directory. Yep, let's go to cd win9x. Do we have a format command here? Please tell me we do. Yes, we do. Okay. There we go. Okay, so let's go back. We want to format C. We won't do a quick format because this had personal data on it. We'll give it a volume name of WinME. Oops, not U. Yes. Formatting. Okay, this is going to take a while, so I will catch you guys on the other side. Okay, it took about 10 minutes, but looks like it's at 99%. Writing out file allocation data table. Alright, there we go. We are formatted. Now, to run the setup. So setup IS. And if you don't know what the IS switch does, that skips ScanDisk. I always do that when installing Windows 9X just because, well, is ScanDisk really necessary? I don't think so. And as Duraga1 said, it looks just like the Windows 98 setup. That's because Windows Millennium is basically just Windows 98 on steroids, or well, rather Windows 98 Second Edition on steroids. And they really, that's really all they did was they took 98 Second Edition, added Movie Maker, System Restore, and some new themes and sounds, made it look more like Windows 2000, and called it Millennium. And it only lasted for 6 years. Only had 6 years worth of support, if I remember correctly. I wonder if it's trying to seek the floppy drive. The floppy drive on this laptop unfortunately does not work. So, it's probably, I don't even know. I know that Windows 98 loves to seek the floppy drive ad nauseum. Any year now. Alright, so place your bets now. Do you think Windows ME is going to play nice with this laptop? What do you think? Yes or no? So far, I've got a bad feeling about this. And if Windows ME turns out to be absolute crap on this laptop, I'll probably just replace it with Windows 2000. I'm not going to put XP back on here for sure, because once you have the service packs installed, you're going to get, the performance is going to go way down. Something's telling me I should have copied the setup files to the hard drive. I usually don't have to do that with Windows Millennium, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Doesn't look like there's any disk activity, which is just wonderful. Don't tell me it. I think it froze. Yeah, I think it froze. There's no disk activity. So I'm probably going to have to copy the setup files to the hard drive anyways. Well, I'll give it a few minutes and off camera, see if it does anything, and if not, then I'll just have to copy the files to the hard drive. So after about 7 or 8 minutes of just sitting at that screen, we finally got to the setup. I was just about to restart the computer too. Alright, so we want to install the C Windows. Checking your hard disk for problems. Oh boy. And since I think this has a 6 GB hard drive, either 4 or 6, I can't remember. We'll have to look once Windows is installed. But just trying to get these stickers off that have the personal owner's or the previous owner's name. All right, let's do a custom install as all techs love to do. So we'll do all accessibility, all accessories, address book is fine, communications, I really don't care, games, multi-language, because why not, all multimedia, and I'll keep online services there just in case the new owner, because I'm probably going to be selling this laptop, so we might as well just max out the install, do everything except web TV for Windows, because it never works. It doesn't work anymore, and it never worked when the service was still available. Computer name, Solo 2500. Computer description, I don't think so. So we want English, United States. I am in the Eastern time zone. And it wants to create a startup disk, but the floppy drive doesn't work, so we can't do that. Alright, ready to begin copying files. I guess this is probably going to take an eternity due to the speed of the CD-ROM drive, but I guess I'll tell a personal story about Windows Millennium, because Windows Millennium was actually it wasn't the first operating system that I ever used, but it was the first operating system that came with the first computer I ever had, which was an HP Pavilion. I don't remember the exact model number, but it was an HP Pavilion. And it came with Windows Millennium, and that computer, I mean, it ran Windows Millennium okay, but programs would often crash on it, and it almost seemed like it wasn't meant to run Windows ME. And I only used it for, I got it back in 2001, I think, either 2000 or 2001. I think I was 3 or 4 years old, and my parents loaded all these little Jumpstart Kitty games on there for me to play, and because my dad needed his computer for his legal work. And Windows Millennium, like Windows 98, holds a special place in my heart because it was the first operating system that came with my first computer. And even though my dad seemed to have trouble after he upgraded his computer to Windows ME from Windows 95, I never had a problem with it. I never had a problem with it not taking product keys. I never had a problem with it crashing when you insert new hardware. The only time I have had problems with Windows ME is with faulty hardware. I had one computer that was acting all weird, and that was because it had bad RAM, and once I replaced the bad RAM, it worked just fine. So I've personally never really had a problem with Windows ME. The only problem I can think of is when I was trying to run DOS applications in Windows ME, and that's to be expected because Windows ME does not have real mode DOS support. So some of the games wouldn't run at all. Some of them would run, but there was no audio, and some of them just completely crapped out. So, anyways, this is probably going to take an eternity, so I will come back when it's done. Okay, it's a while later, and the setup is done, so let's restart the computer. And once it finishes setting up the hardware, I'm going to need to change the BIOS option to have it boot from A then C, because for whatever reason there's no option to change it to, there's no way to set a boot order. You can only, they're only preset options, so that's sort of a downside. Alright, we want to boot from the hard disk this time. Okay, maybe we should have... Yeah, it's not booting to anything. Well, time for some off-camera troubleshooting. Okay, I restarted it and it worked this time, so I don't know what that deal. I hope this hard drive's not on its way out, because that would be bad. Ah, this screen brings back some memories from the past, for sure. I'm just curious to see if it actually picks up the drivers for this machine, because this machine, judging by the original CD-ROM drive, had a manufacture date of, I think it was July of 1999. So this machine was probably built around that time, or maybe a month or two later. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it picks up any of the drivers. Not certain that it will, but now comes the fun part where it has to set up the hardware, so back into Flash. Okay, time to enter in all the information. So we'll go ahead and put in my name. Make sure I spelled my name right, because the last time I did this on Windows 98, I typed my name wrong. Alright, the product key. And I'll be reading this off of my Gateway Solo 1150. 3G4 RF9FH FJ4D6 TRD3T 99HDT. I don't think Microsoft would really care if I read a Windows ME product key on screen. Looks like it worked. And if anyone wants that product key, let me just turn the laptop over so it's legible. There it is. If you didn't hear me read it out loud, just pause the video if you want it, and it's yours. I don't think Microsoft is going to care if I give away a Windows ME product key, because Windows ME hasn't been supported for 12 years. So, alright. Now I just need to change the boot order in the BIOS. Make it boot from the floppy first and then the C drive. Because otherwise we're going to get boot errors if we just tell it just to boot off the CD-ROM. So let's change that to A then C. And let's save our changes and restart. Okay, let's see what we get. See if Windows actually picked up any of the drivers. I seem to remember the Windows ME setup being a lot longer than this, so unless I'm just going crazy here, I don't want to say this is the quickest Windows ME setup yet, because and I usually say stuff like, because that's the computer curse, right? You say it's going to work and then it doesn't work. And now it doesn't even seem to be posting. So, more troubleshooting. So after about 10 minutes of troubleshooting, I finally got it to post. I had to for whatever reason, I think it's because the floppy drive doesn't work. It wasn't posting because I had it set to boot from A then C. I just switched it around, and now it posted. So, you gotta love it when these errors occur. It never goes without a hitch, doesn't it? I also had to take out the CD-ROM temporarily and put it back in. So, yeah, that was fun. Anyways, at least I got it to post. So, we'll go ahead and. I guess this computer. I guess it's just because it's just so old that, well, then again though, I mean, it's not that much older than the Solo 1150 right next to it over there. So let me get the camera. There we go. Alright, well, I'm going to let it do its thing, and I'll come back when we're at the login screen or maybe at the desktop, if we even get that far. So here we are 2 hours later. Yes, you heard me, 2 hours later. It's almost 6 o'clock, and it's finally done. And boy, am I relieved. This is probably the longest Windows Millennium Edition install I've ever witnessed. I'm not even joking. I almost makes me wonder if the hard drive is dying in this machine, because it takes forever to post, and I mean, yeah, and the Windows setup took literally 2 hours to complete. I'm not even joking. So, this machine is probably on its last legs, and it's probably not going to help that I'm trying to sell this machine on eBay. But yeah, I mean, this is a new record for longest Windows Millennium install in history, probably. I mean, and sometimes it doesn't even post at all. I mean, now, I'm probably going to have to restart it a few times just so it'll post. So, more troubleshooting on the way. Alright, after a few reboots, we finally have reached the desktop. This has got to be the single longest Windows Millennium installation I have ever experienced. Pure torture. But hey, at least Windows is installed now, and I don't have to deal with this laptop anymore. And it picked up the drivers too, so got both video and audio, which are the two most important drivers, so I'm happy with it. So that concludes this video. Tune in next time. I try to get a video up once a month, but you never know. Tune in next time, and we may have another exciting computer video for you.